What down? This Logix and welcome back to Logix Lens Gaming. Today we're looking through the lens of live service gaming and its downfall, and more in particular, this is my ode to Knockout City. Man, y'all know this one hurt me a lot because if you go back and look at the inception of this channel, Knockout City was the second game that I showed heavy interest in, that I felt like deserved special attention as far as gaming and games I loved on a personal level. Knockout City came out about 2 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. Free-to-play live service battle royale / team co-op game centered around dodgeball, and it was, I think, to my understanding, outside of the mini game and bully, Knockout City is the only dodgeball game that I think we've had as far as dedicated to dodgeball. And I think they did it perfectly well. I couldn't have really asked for anything different. And maybe this game is personal to me because in real life, I love the game of dodgeball. Never done it professionally or competitively heavily, just in gym class. You feel me? Y'all know them days. You used to try to show out when the sport that you loved or was good at came around. But nonetheless, yeah, I think it was very creative. And you know me here, I'm always going to praise the games that show A, creativity, B, love, or C, just a general commitment to what you put out and to market it in a fair manner. I think that they marketed it fairly for the most part. I do think some of the microtransactions in Knockout City was a little steep. I honestly didn't indulge in any of them besides the initial buy-in to the game. I felt like it was worth it, even though I think this game probably would have had more success if it were free. From the get-go, it should have came out as a free-to-play title. That's why Multiversus was doing so well. But they just announced a couple days ago that the game services will be ending, and I'm not talking about adding updates. They're nuking the game in its entirety, and after June 6, 2023, it will be unplayable besides private servers on PC that they will make that will be accessible, and they'll give out information on that at a later date. I'll put a link to their blog post in the description in this video below. But yeah, man, this is sad. It really hurts because games like this are a dime a dozen, in my honest opinion. I think the games that come out that work, this game never had technical issues to my understanding, at least not major ones that were game breaking. It came out as an honest game. It worked. It was fun. It was co-op. It wasn't shoehorning microtransactions down your throat. There was a learning curve, but there wasn't a buy-in curve. I think that it's hard to ask for more than that with games these days. That's the reason I loved it and heralded it and tried to get as many of my friends to play it, which they did, and honestly most of them loved it. I don't think I have a friend that really didn't like this game. It hit the nail on the head for what it wanted to accomplish. The game knew what it was, and it knew what it wanted to accomplish. I think the biggest mistake they made was not making it free to play from the get-go. And this one, I'm focusing more on Knockout City because it's one of the good ones in this whole thing that's happening right now. Because if you haven't noticed, there's a bunch of games that have been out that are about to no longer exist. There's about quite a few games that's been completely nixed from existing or not going to continue to receive updates anymore. So if you guys don't know, so far, some of the games that have been, I'm going to name the ones that you might know a little bit more than others. There's more than this, but these are the ones you guys might know. I'm not going to run through a whole list. But right now, all of these studios have announced that these games are no longer going to be getting serviced, either completely shutting down or not receiving any more updates. And these games involve Knockout City, Rumbleverse, which is a wrestling battle royale, Babylon's Fall, we all know what that looked like, Deathverse, Let It Die, Avengers. It's sad that Avengers is even on this type of list. It's just kind of unfathomable at this point. But all these games plus many more have been shut down, and they're not going to either receive updates or be playable anymore. Back for Blood, another one I love. That game isn't being shut down, but after this last update DLC that they're putting in, they're no longer adding anything to this game. And I think per my last video with the return of the AA, these games, the gaming industry period is about to change forever. I don't know if it's the recession that we're heading into, or if it's just these companies are realizing that they can't put money first, or what. But clearly they're realizing this stuff isn't going to be able to work the way it used to. Games like Fortnite and Call of Duty, those are the exception. They're not the rule. So all of these companies thinking that they can just make a battle royale or a live service or a free to play but heavily monetized game that thinks it can just come in and just take over, I'm gonna be hard pressed to feel like any of these games can do that. Knockout City was, I think, a good contender. I think Multiversus is a good contender, especially with how Super Smash Brothers has aged and it's only on one platform. I think Multiversus has a good holding within the genre, and if they keep doing what they were doing with constant releases of characters, I think that game can grow exponentially. But besides that, the whole live service, free-to-play, battle royale, all of that, when you mesh them all together, is just not ideal. And I think that is going to be to a lot of these companies and studios and developers' downfall. But it's changing now, because all those games plus more that I named are ending. So to put in perspective of what these games have had to go up against versus what if it was a smaller niche genre. So you got these games going up against Call of Duty, Battlefield, even in its poor state, Multiversus, Destiny, PUBG. I don't know if that game is still running or not. Let me know in the comments. I haven't heard much about PUBG and what it's like. I want to know what PUBG is like. Let me know in the comments. Overwatch 2, The Division 2, Dead by Daylight, Evil Dead is about to be free. There's more asymmetrical games coming out. There's more Arc Raiders is coming out. Games like that. You know, it's just so many free to play / battle royale / live service games coming. And some of them that's coming up look like they put a lot more heart and soul into them, to be completely honest. But I just think that it's crazy, because when I started this channel, the purpose was to get people that was passionate about gaming into a space where they can understand that they're not alone in their feelings. I know I'm a millennial, and I grew up in a certain era of gaming, and this whole monetization, live service, free to play stuff wasn't a thing. And we usually, for the most part, got games that worked straight out the box, and we loved them and never wanted to let them go no matter what. Then when the DLC stuff started coming around, we took to that too, and it was fine because it worked when it came out and it was good. It was worth a few dollars, you know. And I know the economy has changed a lot, but they're outpricing themselves because of how the economy has changed. We want a game and we love it, but you can't outprice us out of our hobby. You can outprice us out of our hobby, to be completely honest, and that's what's happening right now, and it's not to anybody's benefit. So between this phenomena of live service games ending and games like Hi-Fi Rush coming out and making a big splash on the gaming scene and people are taking to it well, I think and I hope and I pray that this trend can continue, because as much as I love Knockout City and even games like Outriders, which was a pretty honest and good game, it was good for what it was supposed to be. It had its flaws for sure, but for these type of games, I think that they just have to make sure that they are committed to it and know what they're getting themselves into, because trying to compete with the Call of Duties and the Fortnites is just, like I said, those are not the norms. They're not the standard. They're the exception. So if you're gonna come out with a live service, free to play, battle royale, the battle royale genre needs to stop. And honestly, it just needs to end. It just needs to be integrated in whatever else you're doing, but don't make that the selling point. If you do decide to come and make a game that falls into one of, if not all three of these categories, make sure that it's funded correctly. Make sure that it works. Make sure it's something that we don't have. You can't come in trying to be something that you know already has an audience that's very much committed to their game, because it's extremely hard to just get them to let go of something that they already been attached to, like Call of Duty. You can't just make a first-person shooter. You can't just do that. You has to offer more than that. Battlefield is learning that the hard way. I mean, granted, the worst part was that the game didn't work. After that, you just have to make an honest project that people want to play, that people aren't used to and sick of and oversaturated. You just have to do something new. And I think that there is potential, because like I said, there are some free-to-play games coming out that are looking pretty promising for the most part, I can say. So with that being said, this is a sad day for me, man. I'm really hurt by this, if y'all can't tell, man. I love Knockout City, and to see it just go away it sucks. It really sucks. But that's it for now, y'all. Leave a like if you like the video. Leave a comment so we can engage more on this topic. I think there's a lot we could talk about within what's going on in the gaming industry right now. Make sure you leave a subscription, please. And if you do, hit that notification bell so you always know when I'm dropping a video. This is Logix, and I'm out. Peace.